All right. Welcome back to start the new week. That is here on West Nile Television. My name is Federick Dramadri, and I hope that you had the best of your weekend and that you are here with us and also really following a lot of issues that are happening within West Nile region. And I hope that the spiritual music that was played really made your day start very well. And I hope that you should be able to pick some messages from there, and most of those lyrics were written down there. You should be able to follow when you were really watching how the choir was singing and so on. Many of those melodious voices, you were able to at least understand something. Masters of the choir, you should be able to really understand and analyze some of the music, how people are writing their music, international and so on. Local here, we could improve something from our traditional songs that we are singing here. And that is very important. And I hope that this 6th of November makes it the best for you, really, because brightest of the November that we had started. Remember, most of the week, last week, we had a lot of rain from morning up to sometimes up to sunset, and that has been one thing that has been really affecting so many people in doing their work. And I hope that you will be really able to enjoy this show. And remember, West Nile TV will be able to really unpack for you a lot of shows or a lot of programs on your way as you watch. And for those of you who are following us on YouTube channels, we say thank you very much, and keep here watching. You can move for work when you are even watching, and that is very important. And that's how really technology has advanced. We should not really always sit in one place as we watch televisions. This is very important. You keep doing something that is very important to keep really your life longer, and also keep doing physical exercise. Remember, the issues of many diseases now coming in because of laxity of people. People tend to sit in offices for long. People tend to do things without really giving themselves time to do exercise, giving themselves time to reflect on whatever they've been doing, and also to forget some of the stressful moments in their life. And that is how you should be able to really build social capital, move with people, work with people, discuss with people. You can be able to be fresh and really do something for your benefit in your life long time. And that is very important. If you can really do that, you'll be able to really able to do something better that can keep you longer. And that is how really some people have kept it up to the ages of 120, 30, and also more than that. But some of us are really, we are suffering from sicknesses when we're even 18 years, 19 years, 20, and so on. Some of us have died because of diabetes and so on. Some of these diseases you could fight when you have, you do regular exercise. Sometimes when you visit health facilities, you'll be able to really fight some of these diseases without even taking drugs. You can really fight some of them. Just do exercise. Make sure that you ensure that you associate with people. Okay. Sometimes self-isolation makes it worse. Keeping yourself healthy, and that is something really we can pick from that point. And many issues are happening in West Nile, but before we go to that, let me who are watching us live right now, and I hope that you have the best of this show. And those within Arua City, we say thank you very much, and I hope that the messages that were unpacked by the Minister for Local Government, that is Raphael Magezi, yes, on Saturday was really enough for people really to start paying taxes, and we'll be really moving into those issues. What were those issues? What is it that many of us will learn from that kind of scenario? Remember, Arua City has for long, from 2020 up to this time, has not really seen that increase in local revenue, and that is attributed to enormous reasons, starting from money of the markets coming to the leadership of the city and also the vendors themselves. These are attitude issues and also lawlessness that is being witnessed in central division of Arua city, and that is where we'll be really moving to. And other issues happened elsewhere, but also let me welcome those who are watching us from Maracha district and then Koboko district, Yumbe. We'll talk about move to Moyo and then Juman district. Coming to Lurshab region, we have people from Pakwach, Nebi municipality, Nebi district, and also Zompo district. And those are really prominent people who are ready to develop this region. And I hope that these local governments, once they utilize their association, that is WENTA, that is National Governments Association, very well, they will be able to really develop this region together. And that is one able to do together if we want to really see this region set in the light, and also proving that much as they really had lagged behind in terms of developments, something can be done locally and to show the nation that really we are part and passion of development in this country. And that can be only achieved when we have team spirit, we have really unity in leadership, and also really we have diverse opinions that are accommodated. Okay, if we don't want to really utilize the minority reports, we will not really move further, because these are people who check and look at whether we are doing well or not, and that is really very important. Councils should I mean, those who are in the gallery, they have something to say. You should be able to give them time to really also share some of the nitty-gritties of some of the issues that are from the private sector. Okay, I've not seen any council really taking a law that has been brought by, or a bylaw that has been fronted by the private sector, or maybe people who are outside the council sitting. I've not seen this in Western region. I don't know if it is happening. It's very important to see some of those laws, bylaws coming in, and also getting into the processes so that we are able to also bridge the gap of lawlessness that we have in this country. Sometimes it is very important if we have those kind of things together, and also we bring in the private sector, the private players, talk about those non-governmental organizations, talk about the business community, and so on, many others. When we incorporate the ideas into what we already have, we will be able to really move very far. And that is one way if we want to change the face of our local governments, particularly generally. If you look at most of the local governments, they have been really centered, or maybe centrally financed, but you realize that since the time of COVID-19, we have seen dwindling support from central public partnership that involves government teaming with the local players, private players who come in.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region. passion you've been waiting for!
Yunus Junior Santamu!
It's our league, our football, our boys, our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Ashraf Ukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times.
The Star Times UPL. Our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
From that commercial break, welcome back from that commercial break, and really we appreciate that you are still logged into West Nile TV, and we hope that you are here really enjoying what is going on, and we are here really to unpack what is not known, okay, by the world, and also to see to it that you understand some of the things, why some of these things happen, and also what is it that you can pick for your own benefit. And those are things that we want to unpack here. Remember, over the weekend, DPP actually communicated that the teenage pregnancy case, the defilement case that was actually rejected by the resident state attorney here in Arua City has actually been found to be a case that was having really evidence to pin the police officer who was alleged to have defiled the 1 and 9 year old 1 year and 9 months old baby who that was actually belonging to one of the serving police officers in Arua Central Police Station. And this was really communicated by with a letter that was actually dated 4th of November 2023, and this follows numerous issues that were related to this kind of case. And remember, this case was investigated by the CID department of Arua, and it actually found the officer not having any attachment to this girl. And remember, looking at the evidence that was adduced by police and that was communicated by the police public relations officer, that is Joseph Nyangusia, there was no substantive evidence to pin the officer, that is Othim, who is attached to the PSU department, that is here in Arua City, and he's in the regional offices of Arua Central Police Station. Okay, that is really spearheading the issues to do with the discipline of the officers, the issues to do with how really officers should conduct themselves in line with their duty, and also looking at all those disciplinary office actions. And this is one big story that we can really unpack for you here. Remember, on that D-Day when the case of this minor was reported at a Central Police Station, the minor was actually found bleeding and coming out of the officer, that is Othim's home, with a shoulder in the hand, and was crying. And this actually prompted the surgeon, who is the father to this kid, to take an action to register a case and also really make sure that this was investigated. Being a surgeon guardian who is always there to handle cases of defilement, cases of rape, cases of what and so on. He is one officer who investigates these matters. And police actually was not satisfied of his investigation and further took this baby to a regional referral hospital, whose results actually turned to be positive according to DPP, and they realized that this girl had really a lot of wounds in the private part, and this attributed to really this officer that is alleged to be who was alleged to have defiled this girl to be called to be actually order, and that's why really this case has been revamped right now. And DPP actually communicated in their letter that this officer is going to be taken for trial, and also the CID who were behind the investigations, and also RSA, how actually this case went off is being investigated. And those are some of the things. Once they realize that a hand reaches into this case, they will be able to also communicate and also take drastic measures about this. And these are some of the ways we have seen so many cases dying at police. Remember, the issues to do with interest, conflict of interest. I told you earlier on why actually Uganda continues to fail in enforcement of their laws. Is one of the silent killer is the conflict of interest coupled with corruption that is really attributed to this. Remember, recently the law enforcement status in Uganda was actually ranked to be one of the worst in terms of really looking at enforcement, implementation, and also the ways we come up with our laws. Okay, how they are being really publicized, how they are being enforced, and also how the justice is also being implemented or enforced is one thing that is still wanting in this country. And that's one critical issue that we need to really look at if we want to achieve something. Remember, Uganda was ranked number 125 out of 140 countries across the world, and this was really one thing that has been said to have killed Uganda's law enforcement bodies. Okay, the law enforcement bodies start from the enforcers, okay, or from the processes of making the laws up to the time justice is delivered. And conflict of interest has been one of the silent killers identified to be in this. And remember, if this was not going to be a police officer's daughter, what would have happened? But he was a police officer, but this case actually disappeared from there. And you realize that immediately the police public relations officer communicated that this case was actually dismissed because it didn't have enough evidence to pin the officer. And that was how really the officer was just left like that. And due to public demand and also looking at the gravity of the offense, this was actually aggravated defilement, and this is one area really we need enough support in terms of enforcing these laws. If we want to really achieve something, we need to really do extra to save the people, because if the hunters begin to be hunted, and they once they are hunted, they tend to hide again. Once they are already being caught just live like that, they tend to hide like a dog sleeping or really lying in a football pitch, pretending that the eyes are not being seen and the whole body is not seen. That is very, very unfortunate. That we always are really burying cases that have evidence just because we feel like we want to protect our officer who is actually serving in our territory or jurisdiction, and that is quite unfortunate. Justice should be applied to everyone equally, and really the law should take its course. And that's one thing maybe we would appreciate the Directorate of Public Prosecution, that is DPP, for the strides they have actually taken, and transparency that they have been able to communicate that they have taken actually measures to ensure that this case is heard again. And that is very, very important. We're here to see when really the case will be heard. We'll be also bringing you more updates about about this case, and that is one case that has been rocking the whole of last week. Actually, the last 2 weeks, it has been a very critical issue that people failed to understand how the case was dismissed, and also really how really a minor who was really seen bleeding could not really be seen getting the justice she delivers, okay, she deserves. Okay, that is one thing that is very, very important. That is here happening actually in Western region, and that's why really you saw communications from Parliament that the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, that is Thomas Tayebwa, was also furious about this matter, and actually communicated that he was actually personally going to really intervene into this matter, because really he didn't see any reason of turning away this case, and also looking at the evidence that was adduced by the father, who was also actually a surgeon and also a regional referral hospital. They seem to be actually alike, and there was no difference in terms of the evidences, and also apart from the choice of words by every clinician or doctor that was really there to diagnose this. And apart from the English that is used, the evidence remains the same, and that's how really it brought the attention of DPP to take an action against this officer. So we're here to see whether the investigators and also the RSA will be fall in suit of this case, or really they will be spared. That is one thing we'll be following up later on and after this. And let's move away from that story and look at the stories around the Arua main market. That has been really one great issue that has brought a lot of shares, a lot of talks for the last 2 years, where really Arua city main market has been like a white elephant, where the council could not really get enough taxes like the way they would want, where vendors poured on the streets, and a lot of things, a lot of blame games were really said. And this was following actually a lot of complaints that were launched by vendors out of emotions, because really many of the occupants in the former market that was not yet really constructed were the people who were supposed to benefit from the main market, the first people to benefit. And you realize that after some time, main things happened. A lot of things happened. After the 2018 up to 2020, construction was done. The market was ready. In 2021, vendors started getting agreements and entering the market. You realize that many of these markets were really sold to other people other than really the initial vendors who had actual memorandum of understanding with the government, who were the initial people who were actually having lockups from the start, where Arua town started as a town board up to this time, where it has grown. And these were people who were supposed to be the pioneers of these lockups, who were supposed to be the first people actually to be in these lockups and so on, according to the agreement. And also looking at the new Market Act that actually talks about the vendors themselves taking the market to be actually the biggest umbrella. Okay, they are supposed to actually be tendered the market. They are supposed to reorganize. They are supposed to be the first people to take advantage of what is in the market. And this was really contrarily done by the people who were actually making sure that people are taken to the main market who actually did a disservice to that. And this prompted a lot of vendors who missed out on the market allocation to petition Ministry of Local Government, who actually came lively in July 2021 to come to Arua City and made a lot of pronouncements. One of these was really the status quo remains, as investigations will be really kicking off. And if you look at the investigations report, which was not actually disseminated, and it was quite hard for people to understand what was going on. This was done by Dr. Akelo Alice Opio, who was by then the RCC, the Resident City Commissioner of Arua City, and as he did these investigations, there were a lot of rumors circulating that the politicians in Arua City actually allocated a lot of lockups to themselves, and this was really before even any report was disseminated, and this brought a lot of anxiety among the people. People actually got agitated, and a lot of things happened, and you realize that many people, many vendors from outside entered in the market and made sure that people who were actual locals missed, all the locals, all the indigenous people who were in the market before the construction of the new market already got out of the main market. They were actually poor, moving into streets, selling and so on, and this brought a lot of issues. And looking at the instructions that were given by the Minister for Local Government, that was in July, it was clearly indicating that this investigation will be done, and also there is a report will be disseminated, and that is when now he will come back and really make pronouncements on to how this market should be zoned. And this left actually a rural main market to have 755 lockups that were unoccupied, and this really brought a lot of issues where new markets were developing, and so you will see that another market was growing there in Alaichu and also in Owino, and that is a lot of money that was going untaxed. And you realize that some of the councils, especially Central Division, took advantage of that and started taxing. You realize that some of the technocrats found themselves into issues because they will go backdoors and really pick revenue from people who were really in ungazetted markets, and this brought a lot of issues in the council that led to the then town clerk, that was Wanze, to lose his position and forced him to be retracted from the town clerk ship in Arua Central Division to be taken to the central, actually to the main council, that is city council, to painting deployment, and now he has been deployed as the assistant town clerk or the deputy town clerk, Ive Division. Currently he is serving in Ive Division, and this was because of the anomalies and allegations that he was actually picking money from the vendors in who were dealing in fish. That was generally the South Sudanese fish and so on. He actually was alleged to have picked 74 million Ugandan shillings, and which he actually said was not true, but that with that proof from the South Sudanese fishmongers, it really gotten him into trap, and that led to his retraction from being a town clerk in Arua Central Division, and that really forced the town clerk, the principal town clerk, to deploy him in Ivu Division, and that's one story that was actually behind this kind of anomalies, and also people failing to occupy the market. And you realize that now a lot of street venting was witnessed in Arua City, and it was hard to force people to enter the market, not until another communication came that really we needed people in. And President also, when he came to Western region, he ordered also another investigation to be done, whose report has not also been disseminated. But recently we received the Minister for Local Government, that is Raphael Magezi, who came on Saturday morning and had interactions with the vendors, with the leadership of the city, and actually proved that there was a lot of lawlessness, and also really leaders in Arua City didn't know actually what they should be doing as far as revenue mobilization is concerned. And their allocations were said to have been erroneously done, and they are supposed to actually go back and sit to start zoning the main market, and that is one big story there. And you realize that there are going to be a lot of changes and also a lot of verification being done again to ensure that vendors enter the main market and again. And this is one big thing that will be really happening, that you'll be witnessing. That will be one of the changes you will be seeing in the main market. And also, and the minister, himself actually, I'm talking about Honorable Rafael Magezi, he actually said that the main market is actually not enough. Looking at the demand of the vendors, there are over 4,000 vendors who have actually registered to get lockups in Arua main market, but the main market has only 2,000 lockups, and also less than the number that we actually expected. So he gave a go-ahead for Arua City to look for more places that will be there to decongest the main market and also the streets of the town. And one of the spotted areas that will be developed for a bigger market that will be constructed is the Odamachaku market that will be there constructed. And they are expected to speed up the process so that next financial year it is funded. I remember Arua main market is one of the biggest, is actually the biggest market in Uganda that we will talk about now. It was constructed to the tune of 34.9 billion Ugandan shillings from the market, agriculture and trade industries program, that is MATIP 2 program. And this was constructed with the other markets that is that you may talk about, that is Jinja market, Soroti main market, Gulu main market, and also Barara main market, and many other markets that you have in this country. And so far the biggest in Uganda is seen here in Arua, and this is due to the strategic location of Arua city that lies in the center of 3 countries, that is Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, talk about South Sudan, and where really you see a lot of business booming and so on. That is why you see a lot of energies deployed by government to invest in Arua city in terms of improving business or trade and commerce here in Arua city. And that's one area that government already wants to tap a lot of revenue. And you realize that a lot of directives were also given in this meeting that Arua City Council should really take to herself to allocate those market or lockups fresh, and also a fresh verification is to be done and make sure that people who missed out needed to really get especially those who are genuinely the vendors who are supposed to occupy the market should be able to get spaces there and really be able to fit in the main market. And also this does not mean if you are from Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, other parts of Uganda, and also many other countries in the world, you will not get space. You will get space, and that is the beauty. And remember, the city council has actually put prices for that. It is not really so expensive that people may fail to pay, and it is a very cheap one. We'll be able to get really the leaders to speak about how the market is going to be tendered, and also how the verifications will be done in the subsequent days to come. You'll be able to get them live here and also see to yourself what is technically being done to ensure that this market does not remain like a white elephant, and also a lot of money that was deployed or that was deposited in financing this construction be recovered, and also people get enjoying the businesses that they are doing in this market. And that's one critical thing you will be understanding in the subsequent hours. And the directives were very clear. The city council should look for places for construction, and earlier on I was talking about where they have actually spotted. One of the places is Odamachaku market, which is just you may talk about 2 meters 2 meters or 2 foot that you can take to the other sea. It's just by the roadside, and you'll be able to get it from Congo, you will see it in the western side, and Congo looks at us in the eastern side, and that's where you'll be able to get Odramachako market, where the city wants to actually develop that trade node, where you'll be seeing a lot of bank loans coming and show a lot of vendors moving that side. And another area that is to be developed for a market, or really that is going to be decongesting Rua's city center, will be on the Poraka market, that has already gotten a financial support from the French embassy that will be really financing that. And we are hopeful that by the end of this first quarter, next quarter, the construction works will be starting, because the work plan was also issued, and also the structural design, architectural designs were shared with the council. Already works are about to start, and that's one beautiful thing you'll be able to see here for Western region. I remember we are here really strategically located for people to understand that Western region is actually a trade zone that if you want to venture into, you can easily get buyers, you can easily get spaces to do trade at a low cost, and also you'll be able to get a lot of profits. And that's one area you can be able to venture into, and that is very important for a business person. If you're able to inject money and also in return get profits, that's one beautiful thing you may not really leave behind. You will continue to enjoy as a business person. Remember, business persons are profit-oriented persons. They don't want to lose any coin that will be coming and really disappearing just like that, because everyone wants to utilize the available profit or capital that they have to build their status. Okay, if you don't have any opportunity to venture into businesses, you should be able to engage with somebody who has done business for quite a long period of time, that you will be able to really get to understand some of the issues, the nitty-gritties of some of the issues that are coming throughout, and also be able to enjoy how businesses will be running. And that's very important, that if you coexist, if you socialize with people, you will be able to learn more. You will even become an expert than really a professional. Okay, that is just because you have made yourself known, you have made yourself is able to learn from people, and also people are able to learn from your little experiences, and that can make you thrive more than really going to school. Okay, we've seen some people who have never even stepped in a classroom, but they are having a lot of storage buildings that have been rented out. They are running big hotels, and that's not by luck. It is by really associating with people. If you socialize with people, if you are ever hungry of knowledge, if you are always looking for knowledge, you will be able to get knowledge, the knowledge you want. You'll be able to get the expertise knowledge. You'll be able to get all that you want to really run a business very well. All that we do is targeted towards business, whether you are in the health sector, education, where and so on. The last resort is the coin, where you are able to pack something for yourself, and also really make sure that you are able to really have something lastly at your home. And remember, having something at home is the best that you can ever do in your life. If you don't have something taken home and you are doing work, you are not doing work. You are actually wasting your time. You are wasting your energy. You are wasting your effort. That is very important. And from here, we are putting this discussion on the main market to a close. But let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be able to move to main big other issues. Remember, last weekend, the president was here in northern Uganda, really talking bitterly about the executive directive, the executive order that was actually number 3, which was given out. And we'll be able to understand what were the issues that came out, and also what is it that the president has been able to communicate to the people in terms of environmental protection and many other issues. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys, our style. Start Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times.
The Star Times UPL, our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys, our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times.
The Star Times UPL, our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right. Welcome back from that commercial break. And remember, there are so many stories that are making headlines here in northern Uganda and also Uganda at large. Remember, the stories to do with the Balalo herdsmen and people who are really behind these animals is still one big story here in Western region or northern Uganda entirely. Talk about the 4 sub-regions of northern Uganda, that is Karamoja sub-region, Lango sub-region, and also Acholi sub-region, not forgetting Western region, Western sub-region, that are all here in northern Uganda. And remember, the Balalo herdsmen already invaded this place some time back, and this has been one big cry of the people. And because of the devastating impacts of these animals that are moving around, many petitions were channeled through the parliament and also many other leaders. And this actually prompted the president of Uganda, that is His Excellency Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, to come to northern Uganda. This is his 4th time really to talk about the Balalo herdsmen. And really this actually prompted the president to have an executive order, that is now number 3, that has been really sent or shared with the local leaders of the greater northern Uganda. Talk about the 4 sub-regions that I mentioned earlier on. All this received these directives, and this actually, in these directives, a lot of issues were shared. Talking about the issues to do with the environmental destruction by human beings or these animals. Talk about the forest destructions. You may talk about the apparent conflict, which was so immensely witnessed, and this could be one of the issues that were actually were seriously that needed a solution. The apparent conflict vis-a-vis the issues to do with destruction of Zoka forest, which was prominently seen, and also talk about the issues of the Balalo herdsmen who were accused of moving with people's animals. Like these cattle keepers will come with a large number of the animals, and they have to move with this small number of animals that are kept for domestic purpose of the people in the northern Uganda, and some of them are actually move with these animals. They don't actually identify themselves. Sometimes they become like security threats to people's property, crops, and so on. Many have been destroyed by these people, and some of them have been accused of impregnating other people's women and also really defiling children and so on. Many of these cases were actually reported. This actually prompted the president to say that these people should be able to vacate. I remember they were supposed to vacate by July this year, and this was pushed actually to September 30th, which actually lapsed some time back. And also really the president upon actually seeing a lot of issues coming up, and people were actually becoming furious, trying to start fighting physically with these people who were actually grazing animals and so on, in order to save lives and also property. They decided to actually come some 2 days ago, that was Saturday, and was in Gulu trying to talk about a lot of issues to do with that. And when he shared a lot of stories to do with how this Balalo should be able to vacate, and actually given he gave 3 weeks ultimatum, that was from the day of Friday, that was 3rd of November 2023, up to the day when you will be seeing these 3 weeks elapsing. So that will be around 24th of this month. So we'll be able to see that these people should be able to move away from northern Uganda, and that's one big issue there. And under this, there are issues to do with people who actually bought land illegally. Some of these Balalo herdsmen bought land from the people, and that is yet to be scrutinized. According to the president, the customary land tenure system actually has that provision. Okay, the landlords are very clear about who is supposed to buy land and at what time, at what terms, and whether the agreements were really fulfilled in line with the laws. That is one thing that will be verified before really they are moved away from their lands and shown that they have been able to purchase. And those are some of the issues around that. And also looking at the executive order, that is number 3, there were a lot of issues that were highlighted there. The issues to do with commercial dealing in fresh products, which was one key issue that I have seen that many local governments have taken it upon themselves and at least have really calm down the destruction of forest products in this region. And talking about this, you will realize that a lot of charcoal has been impounded by local governments. If you move to most of these local government headquarters, you will realize that charcoal has been packed with sometimes their vehicles that are already in the compounds of some of these local governments, headquarters that are with charcoal. For instance, last week I was in Terego district. I was able to see that there was a very big fuso lorry that was actually packed there, and when I interacted with some of the leaders, they actually said that this one is actually carrying the charcoal. Actually, that's why they have been able to impound it there, and that is one big issue. Where is the charcoal coming from? From Yumbe district, and that is one thing which is so quite very bad. How can you allow these dealers to move with charcoal from your district, and it's another district that is arresting or impounding this off from the drivers? And that is one thing really local governments need to do seriously. We need to be vigilant. That means the forest officers are not doing enough. They are not really doing something really to protect the forests. Now, why have you been recruited? Just there to watch, or really to sit in the offices and cook reports, and that you'll be able to share? That is very serious. We need to really look at that, and we need to do a lot of things to do with that, because really, if we talk about protecting the available natural resources, we are not only talking about charcoal, we are not only talking about timber, we are not only talking about the forests, we are not only talking about the minerals. Okay, we're talking about everything that is on the earth that needed human attention, that is environment generally. Talking about many other things, and that's why really these executive orders are very important for us to really do a lot of things. If we have local governments doing that vigorously and routinely, we will be able to see that really these commercial charcoal dealers from elsewhere will not really be able to temper or will not be able to move away with our forest products. We will at least continue to really receive rains and so on, many other things that will be helping our climate or really helping our people to move further in order to really achieve the targets we want to achieve. Okay, you remember when we did not receive rain, the food scarcity actually increased and shown. There were a lot of famine outbreaks. People started dying in northern Uganda. For instance, in Karamwaza region, we saw a lot of people dying. That was because really people did not take to their faith or to their to themselves to really protect the environment. And this is one big thing. We don't need really to wait for presidential or executive orders or directives to really start acting. We have responsibilities, special officers. That's why in local governments we have those departments of forest, environment, and so on, many other things. The natural resources department. Generally, entirely, you see those kind of people, or the forest officers, the agric officers, the production officers, the water officer, and many others that you may mention, the wildlife, the tourism, and these are really people who, if jointly work together, will be able to really see that environment is protected. We don't need really a president really from the state house to come and say really we don't want to see people burning charcoal here in Terego district. Really, should we wait for that? that is quite embarrassing. It's quite embarrassing. Instead of president focusing on other issues, now we want president to come and really address the issues at local government level. Really, that means we are not doing enough as local governments. So those who have been recruited in these offices, especially in the Department of Natural Resources, really, let's do our part. Let's do our part in terms of conserving the environment and also looking at the issues of keeping everything very, very clean. And also, we are here to see that these 3 weeks, when they elapse, we should be able to see that these people are able to follow the directive. Remember, the president actually gave this directive directly to the people involved. That is in enforcement. That is the RPCs. The RPCs, those are the regional police commanders, and also the DPCs, the district police commanders. Talking about the resident district commissioners, the resident city commissioners, and also talking about the other people. We may talk about you may talk about the district chairpersons, the LC files, the mayors, the division mayors, and the LC3s. These are people who spearhead security issues in these local governments. And those are the people who have been earmarked to enforce this directive. So within 3 weeks, if 3 weeks gets you here and you are seen to be an unfamiliar face and still looking after your animals, you better disappear, or you may get into trouble. Remember, presidential directives are decrees, and they ought to be followed. If you don't follow them, you have actually broken the law. You have to be convicted, and that is one thing that you should be able to understand. It's very, very important, and to really rescue the people from northern Uganda. Remember, northern Uganda has been left behind in terms of development for quite a long period of time, and now that people are waking up in terms people have been empowered in using various sectors of development. You will talk about the major ones. You may talk about the livelihood interventions the government has rolled out. These have empowered people. People have ventured so much into agriculture, but these crops that have been grown, if they are always eaten by these animals and so on, it is quite frustrating to the farmers, to the people who want to get interested in farming. And also, if you have animals, you should be able to really keep them very well in a confined place, also, or fence the place off so that they don't interfere with other people. For you might be interested in animal rearing, but one other farmer is interested in crop production. So all of you have to coexist by protecting one another, by making sure that whatever I venture into helps you in the other way. Because if I grow crops, I can easily give you the grains to feed your animals. You can give me the animals or the milk for me to drink, to take tea with my my crops that, or the raw materials that I've produced. Talk about cassava, ginas, and so on, many other things that I've grown. I can take tea with the milk from your animals. I can eat the meat with the cassava I've grown. Where I can eat the meat with, I can even buy the skins and hides for me to make shoes. Okay, that is one big thing. We should be able to understand that crop production, animal rearing, these are really sisters and brothers that need to work together. So for us to really make sure that they all achieve the target, all of us have set to ensure that they are able to give us the energy, the energy that has been invested into it. We get returns from them. We have to work together to ensure that all this work together, all this achieve what we want. And that is one big thing we should be able to see in 3 weeks. And I hope the Balalo have been able to get this message, and I hope that through the leadership structures, this should be disseminated to them, because some of these people have stayed here for more than 3 years, and they have really intermarried with people here, and so those messages should be shared with them. So if they want to remain here, if they have already acquired land, they should be able to fence you off and make sure that their animals do not interfere with other people's production. Okay, we are all aware that this country has been really seen growing because of agriculture. So agriculture is the backbone, as it is the backbone. We should be reflecting, understanding that anyone who is working, just think about yourself. If you don't have the backbone, will you stand? Will you be upright? Will you be able to move? And that means that is the pivot point of this country. So for us to make sure that the pivot point works very well and people are able to achieve from it, we should be able to protect it very, very jealously. And that's why many times when people are sleeping, they make sure that the backbone is straight. It is not really having that stress. It is put in line that tomorrow when I wake up, it will be able to allow me to move. And that is how we should be able to jealously guard agriculture. It's a very, very great sector that is contributing to this economy. And that is one issue we should be able to really look at keenly if we want to really look at the sense of belonging in terms of improving the economic status of everyone, the livelihood support that we have. Because all that we consume, whether you're a pilot, whether you're an engineer, whether you are that doctor, whether somebody is about to die and you are the one who is the only person who can at least bring back the life, you need food. Sure, agriculture is the best, and that we should be able to guard jealously. And that's why that president was able to really give this directive. It is not for the people on bad faith, because it is also really addressing the issues to do with crop production. Because most times the people in northern Uganda have a lot of things to do with crop production. Really, in animal rearing, there are few who have ventured, and that's why really you see that outcry really so boldly. And you saw how the parliamentarians were trying to argue the case of the Balalu people, the Balalo herdsmen and so on. These are people who come with the animals. They don't even listen to anyone. When they are moving with these animals through your crops, whether through your compound and so on, they don't care whether the animals are eating whose crops and so on. Sometimes even getting them to listen to the case of destruction of crops is very difficult. Sometimes some of these people move with their guns. Sometimes these people move, they threaten locals and so on. And those were the arguments of the local leaders. And I'm happy that the president positively responded to this, and it is something that we hope will be able to move further with that, because really over the postponements of this executive order, the section of the Balalo herdsmen was one thing that was making people getting angry and angrier, because really if it was a directive, why is it that it should be postponed? And these were the things that were making rounds on the eyes of the people, and also the community really was not really getting what it meant to be an executive order, because an executive order needed to be enforced. So once they said actually that it was postponed from July to September to a date that was not communicated, which was one thing really which was not right for the people. Now that this has been brought back, we hope there will be justice, or there will be happiness coming in the eyes of the farmers, and also we should be able to now be able to protect our crops. Those who have these small animals that they are keeping, we should be also be able to be jealously guarding our animals, because many times we see these animals that are kept in a small scale are also destroying crops. Many times we have seen people getting annoyed, some people shooting other people's animals, some people getting into fights because you cannot protect your animals. It's quite bad when you see people's crops being destroyed, and yet these are things that are planned. Sometimes some of these crops, you grow them for one full year, that you'll be able to get the returns later on, and that really affects people from seeing that they are able to not get something at the end of the year or at the end of the crop production period. And that's one thing we should be able to see. And also looking at protection of crops, protection of animals is one big thing we should be addressing. This is tailored towards addressing the issues of poverty and also ensuring that hunger is eradicated, because now that the World Bank or the world storage of food is becoming too low exorbitantly. This is attributed to the wars, the conflicts, the diseases, outbreaks, the pandemics that have kept people not really productive. People have not been growing a lot of crops and so on, and that's why really World Food Program is advising economies to really start building their nations, or the states, heads of states should start building their own granaries. For instance, for Uganda, we should be able to have priorities set. How do we get food, and also how do we make sure that every home there is food? People are able to at least consume, if not 3 times, 2 times there's food. But also to the least, at least once in a day there's a food. That is one very important thing in life. If somebody is not able to taste salt in a day, that's one big thing. You will see annoyance all over, people quarreling. Sometimes you will see women are the most people who complain because of hunger, and yet we all have the hands and so on. The knowledge is there, women have been empowered, there's equity that has been preached everywhere, but you see that when there's hunger at home, the quarrel comes on men, and I don't know why this is so much, and that's why we are saying that most of the families need to sit back and understand whether all of you are working in the public sector or you are doing any other work other than agriculture. You should be able to use that little salary you have to venture into agriculture, or really make sure that you rent land. If you don't have land, you should be able to rent. There are people who are ready to give you out land on rent, and that's one big good thing you can be able to utilize. A very good opportunity that you can tap into. You rent the land and also really make sure that you utilize it maximally to produce food for your family, and also really to get some money from out of it, and that keeps life going. And then really sitting back and saying every time I can buy from the market, that really increases expenditure and also really affects sometimes money balancing. The expenses may not rhyme because you will not have really that pie chart controlled at your home level, and also really looking at some of the other issues to do with the sickness and many other things. School fees is also there, many other things. You can be able to balance them when you have a very good running pie chart. So this can be done when we venture into agriculture. You can keep poultry, you can do what in small scale to really have yourself doing a very good job for your family. So all these directives, I hope, have been taken in good faith. The RPCs should be able to behave. I don't expect bribery issues to come in, because now we are going to see some of these balalos within these 3 weeks, all of them getting married to the locals in northern Uganda here. I don't want to see that trick being played, because really the impact of these animals roaming around has been really so much devastating, really trying to bring a lot of allergy in the eyes of the people. People were not really seeing everything in good faith. So we expect that there will be nothing like this Balalo herdsmen marrying off the northerners in order to claim land, in order to claim ownership of everything in this region. But that will be really a very great moment that we'll be able to see these animals vacating northern Uganda. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be able to move to understand some of the regional stories, some of the national stories, some of the continental stories. And remember, there is a very big story that is running around, and that will be also unpacking for you here, that you'll be able to see that many more than 2 million Ugandans are actually defecating outside. That is they are actually not having toilets. Those are homesteads, and that is one critical issue that is here. We'll be able to unpack it here. Let's take a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Football, our boys, our style. Star Times UPL new season starts 15th September. Go for it!
What a finish from Fukume!
The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times.
The Star Times UPL, our league, go for it.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier on, we are talking about the presidential directive that is there to ensure that the Balaro herdsmen leave actually northern Uganda, and that is really a very, very big issue that has been really affecting the people in northern Uganda. And this is actually part of the executive order that is number 3 that was released in May this year. And that is one big issue that is really already happening here, and that directive has been issued to all the regional police commanders, the district police commanders, the LC5s, and also talk about the mayors. And the RDCs are actually supposed to ensure that this is enforced. Okay, within 3 weeks, this is supposed to be enforced, but also looking at some of the other pertinent security organs that talk about the district's internal security officers, and also talk about many other people who are the LC ones, the local council one at the villages, who are supposed to look at that issue very, very critically. And moving away from that, let's move to the health story that is making headlines. Ministry of Health has actually released a report that indicates that 5% of the Ugandans are actually defecating outside, and that is one challenging issue. And remember, the issues to do with sanitation, hygiene, and so on, the worst issues are very, very critical. Talk about the issues to do with the health of the people, the issues to do with contracting diseases. Talk about the diseases, the 3 Ds that we always talk about, the diarrhea, dysentery, and death. These are really, really very, very big. If you talk about that, that is one big issue. That means 2.1 million Ugandans are actually defecating outside. Okay, they are not defecating in the hall. That is one big thing, a big thing. And you realize that many of these homesteads actually are in the rural setting. People are defecating outside. People, that's why you see many times when they burn grasses, go to where those grasses have burned. You find feces, dry feces all over the forest, and so on and so on. Sometimes even on the streets of the main towns, you see feces in caveras and so on that are blocking the sewage lines, or that are blocking the water runways, and these are things that are seen all over in this country. And that's one big issue we need to fight together with the health authorities. Okay, we need to move to villages, we need to move to areas where people are living and see that the open defecation is actually stopped, and that is one big story. According to actually the Secretary, Ministry of Health, that is Diana Twine, it is quite difficult now to talk about preventing diseases that could be actually avoided by defecating in toilets. Okay, when people defecate in toilets, and also the feces is well kept. Sometimes defecating in the toilet is one thing, but also the other issue is this toilet is covered is another issue. Sometimes there are no cans to wash the hands at the toilet premises and so on. When now you have offloaded the load, you need to wash your hands. You need to wash your hands, and also before you greet anyone, before you touch your eyes, before you touch your nose, before you touch your mouth and those sense organs. Okay, before you touch them, you needed actually to clean your hands. The hands are the biggest contributors. Sometimes we have seen that typhoid is actually caused by eating feces. How do you eat feces? When you go to the toilet, or maybe somewhere you have cleaned your behind. I hope you understand when I talk about your behind. You should be able to understand what it is. Your buttocks. When you clean them, you should be able to also clean your hands with clean water and soap. Soap is one of the detergents that is seen in Uganda to be one of the cheapest means of ensuring that hygiene is maintained. I remember just a few months ago, Arua district actually hosted the Global Hand Washing Day for Uganda, and one of the biggest issues is the issues to do with people not taking advantage of washing their hands, and this is seen to be one of the contributors of the increase in cases of diseases that come in the communities, because already government has tried so hard to ensure that drugs are delivered at health facilities. But what about at personal level? What can you do as an individual? You, the defecator, you, the consumer of the food, you, the urinator, and so on. Where do you go and offload the waste? Okay, that is very, very important. And sometimes cats are clever than human beings. I've seen many cats really making sure that where they are defecating, it is not seen. Nobody should see them defecating. They go and hide. They make sure that they get some space, and also they are able to get some hole and defecate there. They cover it very well, and sometimes many times you don't see the feces of the cats. And that means cats are clever than human beings. If human beings are defecating, you want your feces to be seen. Sometimes you just move a step ahead of you, you see flies moving. Whoo! That kind of noise is coming from a human feces. Very, very, very disgusting. So absurd. When people are seeing your feces, you ate food. Maybe sometimes even because you were on a rush, you did not even bite the beans very well. Some of them are still dear, just like a boiled one, and so on. They are undigested. You want people to see all these things. Where are we going? Really, where are we heading to if we cannot really protect ourselves? And the cats that we feed are the ones that are even clever than us. They are defecating in a hidden place. They are covering it well. They make sure that flies do not come and sit on their feces. How about you as a human being? Big for nothing. That is the thing. Really, we need to move away from that kind of attitude. We need to change the mindset of the people. Everyone should have a toilet at their home and at a business premises. If a business is running without a toilet, that license needed to be revoked, because they have disobediently really failed to obey the laws of this country. Remember, the Public Health Act is very, very clear that once you are caught really defecating outside, once you are trading in a place without a toilet, the Environmental Health Department should have gotten rid of you and really take you to jail and serve that 6 months period of jail term. And that is very, very critical. You should be able to really look at some of those things. It is very, very important that we should move away from the attitude of that kind of nature, but also look at some of the issues really around hygiene. What's in your hand, you should not be told, because really you are consuming the food yourself in your hands, through your hands to the mouth, to the intestines, and the stomach itself generally. And how do you make sure that you eat a really better food? How do you make sure that also really whatever is cooked, that maid who cooks for you, that woman, that wife who cooks for you, that labors to cook food for you, has prepared it, has boiled it very well, has covered it very well. You now, after eating, you will say, I ate food from so and so, you did not keep me food very well, and yet you did not even cut in your fingernails. You did not even cut your fingernails, you did not wash them properly, because you feel like hunger is about to kill you. There's no hunger that has killed people in one day. So it is you to buy your time, balance your time, make sure that you really wash your hand very illnesses. Okay, that is one big issue that is there. And I remember this 2.1 million Ugandans are people that range from you at your individual level who has been counted, and those who have not been counted are also hidden the other side. Sometimes there are forces behind this. Some of the districts, for instance, Madiokolo, that are along the belts of River Nile, have seen that toilets are always sinking at the time of heavy rains and so on, because of the soil type and also soil texture. Many times some of these locals find themselves not having those toilets. So we should be having alternatives. How do we save those kind of people who may not have toilets? Can we vacate these kind of people away from that kind of soil texture, so that we have really sanitation up to date? And also business premises, looking at people who are doing businesses, we should be able to understand that toilets are very, very essential places that we need, because really without excretion a man cannot live. Without any processes coming to a complete, there is nothing that will be really witnessed by human beings, and that is very, very critical. People need to have that kind of thing done, and really to see that it is very, very well followed. And also the health officers in all these local governments, let's take to the mantle and also ensure that we are able to follow these people. Very, very critical. Now the VSTs who have been empowered and who have the knowledge of looking at those sanitation bits and also preventive measures, you should be able to educate your communities on how to really move away from those kind of things. It is very, very important that we have a healthy population that is disease free, that is able to really go very, very far in as far as the issues of sanitation, hygiene is concerned. And that marks it to the end of the Kokoliriko show that is today, and we'll have really a very nice one again tomorrow. But up next, we'll be having the news in Lubarati, and many other things will be following up, and that is where we'll be putting these discussions to a close. And let's make use of the shows that we have on West Nile TV, and you will be able to really get really a very good messages, or really a good knowledge of what is going on from here. That is what we always do for you here. You should be able to really get it live when you are watching. You should not be told by other people, because we have the powers to verify and give you the best out of what you will deserve. And that's why we're here to light up the region. Behind the camera is Dijon Pro, who has been really bringing you all those live coverages, and the one behind those rotating signatures, or the makus that you are seeing flowing there, and also all those writings, is producer Aldo, who is there behind the production room. And up next we'll be having that news in Lubarati by Feta Emmanuel, but also many other programs will be coming on your way. You will have many other things that will be coming. Thank you.